The good news is once you've done that spring cleanup and taken that brown thatch to the compost pile, the lawn will start to green up in almost no time on its own. It's only been a week since we did our initial raking here and the lawn is already a whole lot greener. You still have an issue though, what to do about these brown dead patches left behind by winter kill and mice damage. Well, you can do nothing and hope you get lucky. In some cases, lawns will repair themselves and you can see little sprigs of grass popping up through. But a bad thing can also happen if you leave these dead patches alone. Weed seeds can move in because they're really opportunistic and pretty soon you've got weed patches everywhere. That's why I like to do my overseeding in the springtime or in some cases in the fall, depending on where you live. But any kind of overseeding project begins at the compost pile. I have a couple of loads of bulk compost delivered to my house every year. I always call it black gold because it has 1,000,001 uses around the garden, in the vegetables, as a mulch for trees and shrubs. I top dress the entire lawn. You'll hear more about that later. And you'll hear about compost over and over again in Safe Lawns because it's full of micronutrients that do wonderful things for the soil. Now when you get your compost in a pile like this, if it's piping hot, don't use it because it will burn the plants. It should actually be nice, almost sweet smelling and light. No temperature to it whatsoever. If it smells like ammonia, don't use it. If it smells like stench, don't use it. When it's ready to go, it's nice and lightweight, fits into the shovel easily, fills up in no time, and we're ready to take it over to the lawn to do those repairs and actually top dress the whole thing. Now, a lot of people might approach a lawn repair like this a little bit differently than I'm going to show you, and there's nothing wrong with it. We've already raked this down so that we've got good soil contact for the seed, so I could just spread my seed even by hand, cover it over with straw like this for some mulch, water it. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. I don't like doing it that way because this always looks kind of ugly to me. So what I do is I take the compost and I spread it over the entire area. In fact, I just get up and dump it down just like this. Now, since I'm overseeding the entire lawn, I start out by placing all these compost piles about 3 or 4 feet apart. And all I really want is about a ½ inch layer of compost across the entire area. All I do is take my metal rake first and give these a good push and just feather it out this way. Just go like this. Easy, easy work because this compost is nice and light and feathery. And then I take my light lawn rake, and the idea is to rake this in a little bit. It's not hard, you don't have to press down hard, but you want these grass tips poking up through. If you don't see them poking up through, there's a chance that they'll become smothered. So you just rake this out, fan it out nice like this. Now, I'm going to seed this area when it comes time for seeding very, very lightly. I'm going to seed the open areas over here much more heavily once I've got all this raked out. Once it all germinates, it'll all blend in together and look very, very nice. Now think of the top dressing of the compost as providing a breakfast buffet for your lawn. Your existing soil feeds on the compost, all the microorganisms in the compost. It creates a mutually beneficial relationship that gives you a magnificent lawn without chemicals. Now, if raking all of those compost piles seems like a lot of work, here's another tip. You can accomplish the same thing by using a broadcast spreader. And you can see that the spreader throws the compost several feet on either side of the hopper. Now you do have to stop quite frequently and reload this because it empties out quickly. So essentially you're trading walking for raking. But either way you do it, the important thing is to get that compost onto the lawn.